Good day once again, and welcome to another session on accounting research. This is the third part of our discussion on methodology and research methods. And you will recall that during the last session, we had for a last topic of investigation sources of knowing, and pointed out that of the types of sources of knowledge, we noted that the scientific method or scientific investigation is the most reliable way or type of generating knowledge. We also have discussed in the process approaches like inductive and deductive reasoning. Now, we focus our attention on the role of theory, which I already have discussed in the previous session as a set of interrelated principles that attempt to provide a possible explanation to the occurrence of a phenomenon or a phenomenon. So it is basically developed from research outputs, some theories, and are considered a systematic explanation of the observed facts and laws that relate to particular aspect of life. So theory is a set of systematically interrelated concepts, definitions, propositions that are put across in order to provide an explanation and to more or less predict the occurrence of an event or a phenomenon or phenomena. So discussing further, theory within a research would define the boundaries of the phenomena. So it is very essential that you anchor the conduct of any study to a theory, as it will help you in the scoping requirement of the research process, as well as define what data should be collected and the corresponding methodology. So it is by way of premising your study on a certain theoretical framework that will define what appropriate method or data are needed and the corresponding method to be employed. So therefore, theory and research should be coherent and dialectic, meaning both serves as means and end. So that's how important the role of theory is in the research process. So in the words of Emory and Cooper in 1993, they cited that it is important for researchers to recognize the pervasiveness, meaning it has far-reaching effects, and of course the significance of theory. So as orientation, it narrows the range of facts to be studied. So it gives you the frame, upon which you will have to work on a particular topic of investigation. So any problem may be studied in a number of different ways. We know that, and we have took note of that, which is why we're trying to be in the know or to be adept with the many forms of methods that may be employed in order for us to be able to achieve our research objectives or our research goals. And theory suggests which ways are likely to yield the greatest meaning. So do not undermine the very importance of theory in pursuit of research. So theory may also suggest a system for the researcher to impose on data in order to classify them in the most meaningful way. So it is theory that will also summarize what is known about an object of study and states the uniformities that lie beyond the immediate observation. When it does, Theory can also be used to predict further facts which should be found. Okay, so that is how pervasive, okay, and how valuable theory would be in any research, okay, undertaking. As theories, as explained earlier, will more or less help you in the conceptualization and the operationalization of the variables, and to further give you some sort of uh, of deepened understanding and the confidence to go about the process of establishing relationship, okay, between and among variables. So then, what are the components of a theory? So the basic components are concepts and variables, which are usually related in statement forms. Okay? And these are generally called propositions. Okay. So what is a concept? So simply, it is your mental image or perception. Okay. So it is how you see things. It is how you regard things mentally. Okay. In short, it is your perspective. It is your perspective. It is your perception. Theory, on the other hand, would have one or more concepts. Okay, so note that a theory is consist of one or more concepts. So on that note, concepts are considered as the building blocks of theory. Okay, why building blocks? Okay, it is building blocks because it is that which will lead you to a deeper understanding of things. So as you ascend, okay, uh, the ladder, or as you step on the different blocks, the more that you understand, okay, what the theory holds. So your concepts, okay, are actually building blocks, okay, so to speak. So moving on and discussing further on the components of theory, okay, variables, okay, are the empirical counterparts of concepts. So meaning, with your perspective, okay, variables now, okay, is what will make it, okay, noticeable. It is what will make it observable. It is what makes it, or it is what will allow, okay, observation, or say, for example, quantification, or if not in terms of numerical values, at least description that are more qualitative in nature. So while concepts are in the domain of theory, variables are matters of observation and measurement. Okay, so that's what variables, okay, are. So in theory construction, after the basic concepts are formulated, the next step is to write one or more propositions. Then what is a proposition? So it's a statement about one or more concepts or variables. So a proposition is one that relates to variable, okay, is one that relates to variables. Sorry, a proposition that is concerned with one variable. No, please note of this. Is called univariate. That's why it's called univariate, because there's only one variable. No, please do not be misled. There must be error somewhere here. Whereas bivariate is one that relates to variable. Okay, so bi meaning two. Okay, two variable. While a proposition relating to more than two, okay, is called multivariate. Okay, so note that a proposition is involved with the variable. So when the variable speaks of one variable, speaks of one variable, it is univariate. If it is involving two variables, it is bivariate. If it is more than two, then it is multivariate. So with that, for basis of understanding further accountancy research, okay, we are now ready to undertake the following objectives. So number one, to determine the meaning of accountancy research and to, of course, view accountancy research as a system and look into the landscape of contemporary accountancy research. And thereby, in the process, we also look into the motivations of an accounting or accountancy researcher. So in more specific terms, this is what we will do in this part of our discussion. So let me begin. With the meaning of accountancy research. So in the Oxford English Dictionary, accountancy is defined as the profession or business of an accountant. Note that whenever we talk about accountancy, it's referring to the practice of the profession, profession, or simply the business of an accountant. So it's referring to the discipline or branch of study that deals with the duties of an accountant. Okay. So what are the duties of an accountant? Okay. So you will recall in your previous discussions in your accounting subjects, as to history, that it all started with having to relate the duties of an accountant with accounting, auditing, and tax services. However, in the more recent years, the work of accountants has expanded to include assurance services, certain finance-related areas of management consultancy. Okay, so that's now the duties of an accountant, based on what were earlier identified as accounting, auditing, and tax services. So therefore, accountancy research on the basis of the definition of what accountancy is, will cover the areas of domain or the duties of an accountant, such as accounting, auditing, and assurance, taxation and management services. And earlier we have mentioned about certain finance-related concerns. So, moreover, in a more on a more scholarly way, Oler and others in 2009 characterize accounting research as that which intersects with a number of neighboring disciplines. So it is not purely accounting, or it's not accounting per se, but it's also delving on other disciplines like finance, economics, psychology, and management. And therefore, we categorize accounting papers into 6. We have financial accounting, managerial accounting, auditing, tax, governance, and other topics. So again, in pursuit of doing accountancy research, we might end up with the realization that it's not only purely accounting that we are talking about, but it may also involve other concerns like management. When we talk about management consultancy, when we, for example, talk about financial concerns, we talk about finance, and therefore the categorization. So following the definition of research by Liddy and Omrod in 2010 and Saunders and others in 2010 as well, accountancy research is the systematic process of collecting and analyzing information in order to increase one's understanding of the functions of a professional accountant and contribute to the solution of problems besetting the practice of the profession. So this quite heavy definition can be further understood by looking at the key words that may help us better understand what it is. To begin with, just like any other types of research, it is a systematic process. So when we talk about systematic process, it's involving different steps. And the steps, as mentioned herein, will involve, but are not only in terms of this, collecting, analyzing information. And the purpose of why you do such, okay, is for you to be able to understand what a professional accountant does. Okay. And therefore, in the process, contribute to the solution of a problem. And this would appeal to the very meaning of research as an or relating to one of the characteristics of research, that is an inquiry-based activity. Okay, so note that accountancy research, okay, just like in the other fields, okay, is meant to address a question. So there is a problem to solve. There is a question to answer. Okay, and in the words of Amrod, Leedy, and Saunders and company, okay, they pointed that out in this particular definition. So, with that in mind, okay, let's classify then accountancy research as having to deal with the functional areas will include accounting, auditing, and assurance, tax, and other functional areas. So in terms of function, okay, we classify accountancy research as dealing with accounting, auditing and assurance, okay, tax services, okay, etc. And on the other hand, we may also have it on the basis of sector. So based on the sector, insofar as the professional accountancy practice is observed. So we have it in terms of education or academe, we have commerce and industry, we have public practice and government. So let's know more about the functional areas. So let's start with financial accounting. Okay. So when we talk about financial accounting research, it's concerned with the study of collection, recording, and the reporting of financial information about a business entity or other forms of or organizations. So we talk in terms of collection, recording, and reporting of data, okay, aided by involving data involving financial information, okay, regarding a business, okay, or other forms of organization. So we talk about business in the Philippines based on ownership as single or sole proprietorship, partnership, okay. We have corporation, and we have a special type of business organization known as cooperative. It may also involve other forms like non-profit organization, okay, or not-for-profit organization and foundations, okay. So that's financial accounting. So what it does, okay, what you do in financial accounting research is to look into the effect of economic events, okay, on the process of summarizing, analyzing, verifying, and reporting standardized financial information, and on the effects of reported information and economic events. Okay, so we look at, say, for example, rise and fall of the value of peso as influencing the operation of the business as reflected in the financial information and on the basis of the data that we gathered therefrom. Okay, so that's financial accounting. So it examines the essential characteristics of accounting, particularly the identification and measurement of financial information about economic entities. So, and the communication of the information to interested parties. Of course, you do financial accounting research because you would want your stakeholders, okay, to be enlightened about the financial operation of a particular business entity or an organization. Okay, so it serves for the purpose of providing information for understanding or for decision-making purposes. And then we have management accounting. Okay, so management accounting research, okay, is a systematic inquiry in the provision and use of accounting information to managers within an organization. So again, it's accounting, okay, for purposes of management decisions. So it delves into how managers are provided with a basis to make informed business decisions and how they are better equipped in their management and control functions. Okay? So it serves for the purpose of backing up the actions of managers or the management in general, in the performance of their roles in the organization. So here, the management accounting research examines the role of financial information in determining the changes an organization implements and the decision it makes. So if, for example, we talk about proposed expansion of a particular business operation, or the cessation, for that matter, in matters involving bankruptcy or other situations, okay, that will call to the fore serious decisions, okay, by the management in order to more or less, okay, buffer the effects of any risk, okay, that strikes the organization. So this type of research could look at the impact of organizational change on accounting practices, or the interaction between management accounting techniques and functional strategies. So this may involve, for example, total quality management on one hand, for example, and lean inventory production. Okay, so these are examples that relates to management accounting research. We also have auditing research. So here it examines the systematic process performed by auditors, okay, that is to objectively gather and evaluate evidence that is concerned with certain assertions about economic actions and events. So again, the focus of attention is the role of an auditor investigating the manner by which they establish the degree of correspondence between what the client holds or understand or believes in, and of course, and vis-a-vis the established criteria. Okay, so when you do the auditing, okay, you have your auditing plan, and you have your criteria, standards upon which you base, okay, your observations from. So that's how you do the auditing process. So it looks into the means by which auditors communicate the audit results to users of the reports. And generally, it looks at the quality of the audit services, okay, and the value-adding functions of audit. Okay, so this type of research, okay, can also include and be expanded into discussions pertaining to assurance and attestation services. Then we have tax research. Okay, so it can be understood on a macro and micro perspective, where on the macro level, okay, a tax research, okay, can be an objective, sound, and clear analysis of assessing taxation proposals. Okay. So we also do it on a macro level, tax research for evaluation of fiscal policy issues. Fiscal policy are sets of laws that govern financial generation and the utilization of the revenues, okay, and based on the principles of equity, efficiency, and adequacy. Okay, of course, this will also pertain other revenue raising powers of the government. Okay. So if we have macro level of tax research, it can be also done on an organizational or micro level. So this can involve income tax expense reported for financial accounting, corporate tax avoidance. Okay, And we also have tax-related decisions on investment, capital structure, and organizational forms, and taxes and asset pricing. Okay, so here we refer to the tax code, which actually is a set of rules. Okay, it's a complicated menagerie of rules and regulations that researchers ought to navigate on a periodic basis. And therefore, we have for the last type other functional areas. We have, for example, the specific functions that involves fraud prevention and investigation, corporate governance, internal auditing, risk management, sustainability reporting, and many, many more. So the functional classification of accountancy research is not mutually exclusive, meaning you just can identify one, okay, and limit it to such, but you may realize that an accountancy research may be categorized in different ways. It can be, for example, an academic base on one hand, and in terms of functional classification, it can be, for example, in terms of other functional areas. Okay, so researches that are dominant in one function are intertwined with other functions. Okay, so that's for the functional classification. Then we have the sectoral. Okay, so the sectoral classification of accountancy research into education or academic, commerce, and industry, public practice, and government serves either as the subject of research or the context wherein the research findings and recommendations will be useful. So when we deal with improving governance practices and compliance to financial reporting standards, okay, then we have it in terms of commerce and industry. Quality assurance and ethical compliance may also be a matter of concern in the public accountancy sector. And of course, accountability can be associated with government sector accounting practice. Okay, so that's for the classification of accountancy research on the basis of function and sector. So here's another way to look at accountancy research on the basis of the results of the or results or output of the research process. So we have two. We have basic or applied accountancy research as to results of the research process. So in short, we talk about basic accountancy research as delving on the type of research that is aiming only at knowledge generation. Okay, so it is only for knowledge sake. When we talk about basic, it's also referred to as pure or theoretical research. Okay, so do not be misled. Basic, pure, theoretical are one and the same. And on the basis of the types of research according to output, okay, is only for knowledge sake. Okay, whereas applied accountancy research, okay, as the term suggests, applied, okay, it is involving a real time concern. It is all about the current situation or pragmatic situation, okay, and is needing of a practical solution. Okay, so that's how we distinguish basic, from applied accountancy research. Under applied, we have what we call as action research. Action research is where we measure the impact of an intervention on something, just like a program in accounting, okay, or in accounting technology, in order for it to be able to improve the performance of the department or the individual employees in the organization. So I will end with that, but will leave you with uh, an intro on accountancy research as a system, okay, where we focus our attention on the four properties. Okay, we have hierarchy, we have environment, boundary, and relevance. But for now, let's end our session and look forward to the fourth part of our lecture series. So thank you and good day once again.